name is. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is.
Enter the Cypher with your light.
Greetings once again. It's your boy, Cypher Da MC, the Muhammad Ali of MCs. Welcome to the Into the Cypher podcast, where we focus on being the best version of ourselves. Let me turn my mic up. Where we focus on being the best version of ourselves as we are on this journey together. And I say together because I'm on this journey with you. Thank you for joining us. If you're new to the podcast, if you're new to the YouTube channel, there goes my background music. Like I say, every superhero needs their own background music. Thank you for joining us today. If you're new, you're in for a treat. Drop a mic on that like button if you're watching this on the YouTube channel. Subscribe, it's free, helps the channel grow, helps the community grow. Before we get into today's topic, you know what we need to do. If you've been here before, you know what we need to do. We need to get our disclaimers out of the way. I am not a psychiatrist or a psychologist of any kind.
Nope.
I'm not a relationship expert. I'm not a therapist of any kind. I don't have a doctorate or a master's from Harvard. No. I am just a regular Joe Schmo. Just a regular guy giving you just maybe a different perspective on looking at life and how we approach it and how we deal with it. All right, I had to get the disclaimers out the way. I didn't want the any pundits to come after me 20 years down the line. So today's topic is about change. It is about change. Change is inevitable. I'm sure we've all heard this before. We've all dealt with change in some shape, form, or fashion before, but we often fight it because, for various reasons. And we're going to get into those reasons today, as well as, what we can possibly do just to kind of maybe look at change in a different way than what we're looking at it currently. You may be looking at it, one way or another way, but hopefully we can kind of see exactly where we are with it. But again, change is inevitable. Change is about evolution. Change is about not being stagnant in where we are. When we get a little bit too comfortable, that's when oftentimes change can occur. Change can occur when we're getting a little bit too comfortable in life, getting a little too comfortable in whatever station or whatever position that we have in life, and certain things come about that causes that change. So why do we resist change? Why do we fight it so hard? Why do we, hear something that is changing and we moan and groan and just go into this, oh my gosh, what's going to happen sort of mind frame? Well, people resist change because they often believe they will lose something of value. They think that they're going to, or it could be derived in fear. And you might be thinking, well, what do I have to fear? Well, you may not be able to adapt to what you're changing to. There might be some new ways that you may not be able to catch up on. Think of it like this: an older person may not catch up on if they're going back into the workforce. If they feel that their Social Security is not going to be enough to cover their expenses or what they need to take care of, and then go back into the workforce, they may not have been privy to some of the technology that younger people have been used to for the past 10, 15 years. So even though they may still go into the workforce, it's, in the back of their mind, they may be like, man, this is going to be hard for me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it because, I'm not good with technology. I'm sure each and every one of us have heard someone say, I'm not technology savvy. I'm not tech savvy or something to that effect. Well, not everyone is tech savvy. Even people who are tech savvy, I wouldn't call them tech savvy. Not everyone doesn't know everything about technology. There's going to be certain things that they just are not keenly aware of. But the fact is, those individuals, they may have this fear, or they may be like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And eventually they will adapt. It may be a slow learning curve, but change can be beneficial for us all. But that is what change is about. It's about evolution. Change has been occurring on this planet since it was formed. Some changes take millions of years, some take thousands. Within humans, it can be almost instantaneous in certain aspects, just depending on the individual. So you have to ask yourself, am I accustomed to change? Can I adapt to change quickly? Or am I one of those that fight change and fight when things are evolving around me and I have to get used to something else? I have to adapt to a different way of thinking or doing things, and it takes me a little bit longer. And it's okay if it takes you longer. And change, depending on who you are, you can possibly define it as either a good change or a bad change. It depends on how you look at it. It depends on what you value or what you think that you're losing. I'm going to lose this, I'm going to lose that. Then you're going to look at it in, of course, a negative light. Well, even though I have to get up an hour earlier to get to work, due to this new shift that I'm on, I'll be home an hour sooner. And, I can get, maybe I can get a run in before it gets too dark, or maybe I can go to the gym before it gets too dark. So it depends on how we view change. Because change is about evolution, but that's why we fight it because it forces us to evolve. When we get too comfortable, change will force us to evolve. In my opinion, I think change deals with control. When things are out of our control and decisions are made for us and we have to kind of dance to a different drum or dance to the beat of someone else's drum, I think that's when we fight it the most. Do you agree or not agree? I believe for the most part, most humans, most of us, we want to change or evolve on our own time. We don't want to do it when someone tells us to, or when the company makes changes or things of that nature. I have been a part of I've been laid off before. That's a change. I've been let go from a job before. That, of course, is a change in itself. I've witnessed friends, having to leave their jobs due to whatever the company is doing as far as trying to save money or go into a different direction, so to speak, revamping or re-strategizing or what have you. I've seen that, and that is a change. And I think due to the economy and the way things are going right now, in the economy and inflation, and you see all these cutbacks and things of that nature, and there's still so many jobs out there, and I think we're going to start seeing an uptick in people saying, hey, you know what, I am no longer going to look at this job in such a way that it's negative. Like, I'm not going to turn my nose up at this particular job because of what it is. Sometimes you have to look at the writing on the wall and say, you know what? I'm not going to be one of those that just, disperses a job or a job opportunity simply because, it's beneath me or something to that effect. Because just like you have these, plethora of jobs, I say. Yeah, I use my SAT words, people. Just because you have these plethora of jobs available now does not mean 2 months, 3 months, 6 months from now, you're going to have the same amount of jobs. It could go in the other direction. Now you have a job shortage. Now you may be thinking, oh, Cypher, don't be a negative Nancy or a negative Ned. I'm not being negative. I have to be real. I have to be a realist in my thinking. I would love for there to always be jobs and employment opportunities for those that want to continually move forward and progress themselves. But it's out of my control. You have our economy intertwined with the world economy, and things affect, gas prices and all this sort of stuff we read about as far as everything that's going up. Eggs? Really? Eggs should not cost more than the price of gas. That's just my humble opinion. Eggs should not cost more than milk. I mean, what? I love eggs. I will make an omelet in a heartbeat. How about you? I would definitely do that. But eggs should not cost $4 or $5 a carton. But this is just the state of what the economy is at this time. Guys, hey, I know you've been watching the video. You're loving it, right? Thumbs up, likes, subscribe. You'll get back to it when I get you back to the video. Anyway, I wanted to quickly tell you about the company that I've partnered with called Credit Rent Boost. Pretty much allows you to basically have your rent that you pay monthly. Doesn't matter if it's an apartment, house, townhome, castle with a moat. If you have one, if you're rich like that, whatever. But guess what? You can actually have that reported to the credit bureaus as positive credit history that you're paying. So why not get credit for what you're already paying, right? Go to creditrentboost.com, and not only can you get credit moving forward for what you're paying for rent, little known secret here, for the past 2 years, you can get credit. So you can get credit for rent that you paid last year, the year before that, from 2020, right? So why not give them a chance? You can use my promotion code OVM24522, or better yet, I'll leave the link in the description box below. Might be the best thing you ever do. Now, get back to the video. Smash the like. I will say it again. I love that guy's voice. He's just so magical. He's like that leprechaun at the end of a rainbow. You just want to just sit with him in his pot of gold and talk to him all day. Yes, I often dream about sitting with leprechauns and talking to them. Fascinating people, I've heard. But still, this is the economy that we live in currently, so we have to adapt to it. When the pandemic started in 2020, we had to make changes. We had to adapt to how we dealt with people, even our own family. We had to be mindful of how we connected with people, how we, went to see family, be around family. Even now, we still have to make sure that we still follow those little routines that we often took for granted of sanitizing and making sure that we're clean and wiping surfaces down consistently. After a while, it became part of who we are. Those changes became a part of who we are. And I'll say it again, change is inevitable. We don't know what the next big change is going to be that is going to affect us on a global scale. But every day that we have here, that the Creator gives us, there's always an opportunity for us to change or look at ourselves in the mirror and say, okay, I see where you are now. Where do you want to be 3 months from now? Where do you want to be 6 months from now? How is your attitude about life? How is your attitude, period? Is it positive? Is it negative? Do you have one of those nasty attitudes that gets you not invited to parties? Hey, I'm just being honest here. Change has to start somewhere, and oftentimes it has to start with us as individuals. We have to look at ourselves, to quote Michael Jackson, hey, it starts with the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror. If you're both looking in the mirror at the same time, then it's both of you. But it starts with us. It starts with us looking at ourselves first. And then, you have so many different there's so many different examples that, I could just throw out there, if a boy or girl, and I say boy or girl, let's say young teenager, 18-year-olds, let's just say that they decide, you know what, college is not for me. I don't have the money to go. I'm going to go into the military. I'm going to sign up. They are going to experience change like never before. They are going to experience a total change as far as being told when to get up, when to eat. You now have someone telling you where you need to be at a certain time and how long you have to be there. For those that have been in the military, or veterans of the military, they can tell you this. You are not your own individual there. There will be a change that you will have to adapt to. You're not on your phones all day. You're not sitting somewhere, talking with your friends or taking selfies and all that sort of stuff just because you want to. No, you're getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning or whatever, doing this, that, and the third until it's time to move on to the next task that you will be given. Any man or woman that decides it's time to settle down or get married, that's going to bring about change. Because those are decisions that you're making. So this is where the fear may come into, as far as now you're going to have to adapt to a new way of thinking. It's not just about you anymore. A man or woman deciding, hey, it's time to leave the marriage. That fear can also be present because now they're thinking, okay, if I decide to one day date again, what's that going to be like? If you've been married for a while, now all of a sudden you have to think, I don't know what the dating scene is like after 5, 10, 15 years of being married. I don't know what I'm going to do, Do people use apps? Do people use websites or whatever? Do people still go to bars and pick up other people? Who knows? I mean, just do what they do in movies and you'll be fine. It always turns out well, right? I'm just saying. Change is all around us. The young girl that, becomes a mother herself. She has to go through change. Because now it's not just about her. Now it's about the life that she brought into the world. Change is all around us. And it's going to seem almost instantaneous. But now you have to go from the mindset of it is about you to now it is about this young life that you brought into the world. Now it's about if you've been married and had kids and you decide to leave the marriage, now it's like, okay, how is this going to affect the children? Maybe you have kids and you're getting married. Now you got to think, how is this going to affect the children? So it really depends on how you look at change. I qualify or look at myself as a realistic optimist. I don't know if I can be a realist optimist. I think I'm a realistic optimist. Meaning, I try to see the glass half full, but I also have to be realistic about that glass. The one thing about water is it is fluid. Change can be fluid at times, which means we have to adapt and we have to be fluid with change. We have to understand that if you have to change jobs, as hard as it may be when you're leaving your colleagues, some of them may be friends, some of them may have been to your house, or you've been to their house, and your lives are intertwined, and you've leaned on each other during those lean times. And let's say that the company that you're with, it goes through some sort of change, and one of your colleagues is let go, or maybe you're let go. That's change. Maybe the friendship may change, maybe the relationship may change, because they would be a reminder, or you would be a reminder to them of where you used to work. And you're not upset with them because they kept their job, or they shouldn't be upset with you because you kept, your job. Their anger or however they feel will likely be against the company itself, but you or they would be a representation of the company if you're still employed there. That's going to be a change in dynamics as far as how you interact with each other. It's not easy. Change is never easy. So I don't want that message to come across, oh, he thinks that change is easy. He must be a chameleon. He can just adapt to any environment. I would like to think that I could adapt to any environment, but I know that change is not easy. It's not easy to accept. I think it's a matter of acceptance. You have to look at any variation of what is going on around you and wonder, okay, how is this going to affect me? How is this going to make me feel about myself? How is this going to affect, what I do or where I am currently, or is this going to affect any of my short-term goals or my long-term goals? Which will be more affected? I myself had to write out my first quarter goals. I wanted to start off small. I wanted to accomplish things that I knew that I could accomplish, but still move forward, in my company, so to speak. I had to kind of say, okay, these are the goals that I want to accomplish. These are the things that I want to do. And it's going to bring about change. Now, you may say, well, first quarter, that's 3 months. If you break down life in quarters, I think it's a little bit more manageable. We often just kind of generalize things in life. Oh, I want to lose this in this year, or I want to do this in, this year. You're not giving yourself definitive things to reach. So no change can actually take place because you're not looking at it as, okay, you're not pushing yourself towards change. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to push ourselves a little bit more towards change and not run from it. Because as I said, change is inevitable, and so is human evolution. So let's evolve. Let's evolve, people. And once again, it's your boy, Cypher Da MC, the Muhammad Ali of MCs. Thanking you once again for tuning in. Just continue to, I'm so thankful for you guys. Each and every time you download the podcast, stop by on the YouTube channel, The Real Cypher TV. But guess what? As always, before you love anyone else, you must first love yourself. And I am out this thing. Cypher.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is. I will not lose.
Enter the cypher with your light.